Good evening everyone, and welcome to our first virtual Matwork Pilates class. Tonight we're going to be focusing on our abdominals and our glutes. Let's get ready and in position. We're going to start by getting into our initial starting position. We're going to start with our legs fist width apart, hands resting by our side, and we're going to start with a small gap in our back, but with our back mainly flat. What we're going to do is we're going to take some nice big deep breaths in through our nose, then out through our mouth. And while we do that, we're going to make sure we engage our core about 30%. So you're going to breathe in through your nose to the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and out 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and out through your mouth 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and out 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and out 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. After we've completed our deep breaths in and our deep breaths out, we're going to move on to the first of our exercises, which is our abdominal prep. We're going to start this exercise with our hands by our side, and we're going to have our head just resting comfortably on the mat. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a nice big deep breath in to prepare, and as we breathe in, on our exhale out, we're going to lift our head and our hands up into this position with our shoulder blades up off the mat, looking through the gap between our legs, and we're going to hold it, 3, 2, 1, and then we lower back down. Again, we're going to repeat this again, so nice big deep breath in, breathe out, and up, and hold, 3, 2, 1, and down. So we're going to keep repeating that, with again, nice big deep breaths in, 3, 2, 1, with that 3-second hold, and then lower down. To progress this on, what we can do is we can come up, and then instead of just holding it in a static position, we go 1, 2, 3, and then lower down. So you have the choice of choosing between the general static position, where we hold for 3, or you can progress on to doing so like 1, 2, 3. So we're going to keep moving, and we're going to take a nice big deep breath in, and up and hold, and 3, 2, 1, and down. What you can also do is you can alternate between each exercise and then hold. So get a nice big deep breath in, breathe out, up, 1, 2, 3, and then down. Again, for our next exercise, progression of our abdominal prep, what we're going to do, instead of just raising up and bring our arms up to our side, we're also going to bring our feet up into the air by a few inches, and again we're going to maintain that hold, 3, 2, 1, and then down. We're exhibiting nice slow control throughout the movement. So again, lifting up, holding it, 3, 2, 1, and then down. For this portion of the exercise, it is entirely optional for you to be doing the hand movements from the previous level of the exercise or not. But again, you can incorporate it at either level, regardless of whether you're doing your level 1 or your level 2. So again, we're just keeping that going. 3, 2, 1, then lower down. A nice big deep breath in, breathe out, and hold, 3, 2, 1, and then down. Again, nice big deep breath in, Again, you will feel that work building up in that upper abdominal area. If you do need to have a rest at any point, please feel free to do so. So again, nice big deep breath in, up and hold, 3, 2, 1, and down. And again, nice big deep breath in, breathe out, and hold. So we're going to do 3 more repetitions, and then we're going to switch on to our next exercise. So again, third to last one. Second to last. So we hold, 3, 2, 1, and down. And last one, we're going to hold for 10 seconds just to make it that bit extra harder. So we lift up and we hold. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Following on from our abdominal prep, we're going to move on to our hundreds. So again, we're going to make sure our back is lovely and flat, small gap underneath our back though, in the middle, making sure our belly button is pulled in towards our spine, engaging those abdominal muscles and our primary core. And what we're going to do is you're going to lift your hands and float them up off the floor, and you're just going to move them up and down in a nice, slow, gradual motion. And what we're going to do is we're going to engage that core even more deeply. I'm going to bring one leg up into our tabletop position. So for our tabletop position, we make sure that our knee is above our hip, our foot should be hidden behind the horizon of our knee, and again, just making sure we're keeping our breathing nice and steady. We're not allowing the shape in the middle of our back to change size. So again, hands moving up and down nice and gently. Big deep breaths in through nose, then out through mouth. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we lower down that leg by itself, and then we bring the other leg up and we hold it. So again, knee over our hip, hips nice and level. I want you to imagine you've got a drinks tray resting on top of those bony points here on your hips, with a glass of water on finely balanced. And what we're doing is we're not allowing that drinks tray to wobble and tip our water over. So again, just counting down. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then what we'll do is we're going to move on to our hundreds, level 3. So those hands keep going. So even if you start to get a bit of an ache in those arms, we're going to carry on because it's good for you. So again, we're going to lift that leg up into tabletop, the first leg. And then what we're going to do, making sure our core is firmly engaged, we're going to bring the other leg up into tabletop. So we've now got both legs up in double tabletop. And again, making sure we're keeping our arms moving nice and gently. Nice big deep breaths in through nose, out through mouth. Now if you find your hundreds, level 3, just a bit easy, what we can do as a variation is we can bring ourselves up into that abdo prep position, just like so, and you'll feel it here in your abdominal area quite deeply. Or again, what we can do is we can take larger movements with our arms if you don't feel comfortable to bring yourself up into that partial abdominal prep position. The idea of this is that we're making sure we keep our rib cage lovely and flat. But again, I'm just going to remain in the level 3 position, which the majority of you watching will be in at this moment. So again, just going to keep on going. Again, you're going to be feeling all that work in the abdominal area right now. So again, we're just going to count down. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then what we'll do to finish off the exercise, we lower our hands down to the mat and bring one leg down first and then the other, and then we come to a rest. So just take some nice big deep breaths in, and then we'll move on to our next exercise. For our next exercise, what we're going to do is we're going to do our double leg stretch. So for this, we want to make sure our back stays nice and flat on the floor, belly button pulled in towards our spine, making sure that our tummy isn't doming. At this point then, what I want us to do, I want us to act as if we're going to be hugging our knees. Bring those knees close towards your chest, but not bringing them all the way in like so, because we don't want our bottom to be rising up off the mat. Have your hands either across your chest or resting by your side. Place them wherever feels most natural. And what we're going to do is you're going to take a nice big deep breath in, and you're going to extend one leg out. Now as we do it, we want to make sure our back stays lovely and flat, and then we bring it back in, and then we extend out the other leg. Now again, we're going to be feeling all this work in our abdominal area as we do it. So again, out, hold it, 3, 2, 1, bring it back in, and out, and hold it, 3, 2, 1. So we just keep switching over between the two. With this exercise, we're not switching our legs at the same time until the next progression. Now again, make sure you're keeping your breathing nice and steady. Now as we do it, we make sure that our foot doesn't touch the floor, it's just a couple of inches above, and then we bring it back in. So again, breathing in through the nose and then out through the mouth. Making sure that back stays lovely and flat. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to teach the next progression of this exercise. So for this progression, we start out by extending one leg out and we hold it, and then instead of just bringing one leg back in and extending the other out, we move them in and out together as a pair, making sure we're keeping our breathing going and our back stays nice and flat. So hold it, 3, 2, 1, and in and hold, 3, 2, 1. And again, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Back nice and flat. Now at this point, you're going to start to feel that fatigue building in your abdominal muscles. You're going to start to feel as if that back's wanting to arch. Make sure you're keeping it lovely and flat. So we just keep going. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then bring one leg down, then the other, and then just bring yourself for a short rest and relax. So we're going to move on to the final set of our abdominal exercises. This exercise is called our scissors, and so what we're going to do is we're going to do our scissors level 1 to begin with, just to give us an idea as to what the exercise should look like before moving on to our level 2, and then eventually our level 3 for those of you who want a bit more of a challenge. So what we're going to do, bring one leg up into tabletop. Now again, make sure your foot is hidden behind the knee, make sure your knee is above the hip, and again make sure your back is flat while maintaining a small gap in the centre of the back. For this exercise, the majority of the movement comes from the hip. Do not allow the leg to extend out like so, we want the 90-degree angle of the knee that we have here to remain as close to that 90 degrees as possible. So again, nice big deep breath in to prepare, and as you breathe out, we just lower the leg down and up. So the heel of our foot or the tips of our toes are touching the mat, and then as soon as they touch the mat, they come back up. So again, nice big deep breath in and nice big deep breath out. So we're just going to keep it going. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then lower that leg down. Make sure your core is firmly engaged, back flat on the mat. And again, we're going to bring the other leg up into tabletop. So again, knee above our hip, foot hidden behind the horizon of our knee. And then we're going to lower down and up. So again, all the movement is coming from our hip for our scissors level 1. And again, we've got nice steady control. We're not going too quickly, we're not going too fast, and we're not going too slow. It's a nice gradual pace while making sure our back stays nice and flat on the mat, belly button pulled in towards your stomach. And then 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then relax. We're now going to move on to the level 2 scissors. In that introductory level 1 scissors, what we're now going to do is we're going to do our level 2 scissors. So level 2 scissors, what we need to do is prepare again and make sure our back is nice and flat. We're going to bring first leg up into tabletop, same position as always, knee above the hip, foot hidden behind the knee. And then we bring the other leg up into tabletop. You can have your hands resting by your side or across your chest. Got to make sure our stomach isn't doming. And for our level 2, we're going to start out with our right leg. You can start out with the opposite leg if you wish. And then what we're going to do, the leg just comes down, then back up. So after doing the previous exercises, such as our hundreds and our abdominal prep, what you'll find is that your abdominals might be a bit fatigued. So if you wish to at any point, you can pause and just rest before resuming the rest of this exercise. So we're sticking with that right leg, or what you can do alternatively is you can go down with that left leg, bring it back up, then do the right leg. Again, we're just making sure the heel of our foot or the tips of our toes touch the floor, not remaining there for too long. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then relax, place one foot on the floor, then the other, and just bring your hands to a gentle position before we then move on to our level 3, if you feel comfortable enough to do so. Completing our level 1 and our level 2 scissors, we're now going to move on to our level 3 scissors. For our level 3 scissors, it's going to involve having both legs up in the air, as per our level 2, but with a bit more dynamic movement. If you don't feel comfortable to move on to the level 3, please stick at your level 1 or your level 2, whichever level feels most appropriate for yourself at this given time. move up into your level 3, we're going to bring one leg up into tabletop and then the other. As we do so, we want our back to remain lovely and flat, belly button pulled in towards your spine. And then what we do is we bring one leg down, and then what makes this the level 3 and provides the challenge is our legs are moving concurrently at the same time. So again, nice big deep breaths in through your nose and then out through your mouth. So again, make sure your knee comes back to remain above your hip as you do it. We don't want it to go too fast like so, or else you'll lose all that lovely control and you'll start to get an arch in your back. We want it to be slow, gradual, and just keeping it going. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then lower one leg down and then the other. If you do wish to carry on this exercise for longer, please feel free to do so, but only continue to exercise until you start to feel that fatigue set in. And then we're now going to move on to our next exercise. For this exercise, we're going to move away from our abdominal workouts. And we're going to move to start working on our gluteal muscles. So I want you to remain in this position, but what you're going to do is you're going to remove your head block or your cushion away from underneath your head, if there is one under your head. You're going to shuffle down the mat so your head is resting comfortably on the mat. You can have your hands either by your side or across your chest. We're going to make sure our legs are shoulder width apart, feet underneath our knees, relatively close to our bottoms. And then what we're going to do is you're going to take some nice big deep breaths in. And as you breathe out, you're going to squeeze your bum cheeks there. You're going to squash that back into the mat. And you're going to lift your back up into your shoulder bridge, level 1. So if your shoulder bridge level 1, you're making sure you're getting full height, or as much height in that shoulder bridge as possible. You're going to hold it for 3 seconds, and then you're going to lower down. So we're just going to do a few repetitions of this before we then progress on to the next level of this exercise. So again, 3, 2, 1, and then down. Now, as we get further into the repetitions, one thing you want to make sure that you don't allow to happen is that you don't want to allow for your bottom start going lower and lower down as the fatigue sets in. You want to maintain that height that you had on the initial repetitions, to maintain that difficulty as it does start to get harder. So again, 3, 2, 1, and then down. If you do wish to make this particular level a little bit harder, what we can do is we can incorporate tiptoes into the exercise. So make sure your feet are relatively close to your bum, as they should have been from the beginning. Again, same as before, we go up on flat feet, making sure our bottom is as high as possible. Then we go onto our tiptoes and we hold it, 3, 2, 1, and then lower down, bringing our feet back into a flat position. And up, hold, tiptoes, 3, 2, 1, and then down. So we're just again carrying on with these repetitions, holding it, 3, 2, 1, and down. Now the reason we don't want to hit anything underneath our heads is because of all the strain we're going to be placing on our neck, and we don't want anything under our neck that is uncomfortably or unnecessary there in the first place. Now to my right, you'll see Pippin, my cat, who decided to join in, and he's now wandered off, but he may be back after. So again, he's made me forget that I'm doing tiptoes, so again, 3, 2, 1, and then down. So we're now going to move on to the level 2 shoulder bridge. So after completing our level 1 shoulder bridge, with and without tiptoes, we're now going to move on to our level 2 shoulder bridge. So for our level 2 shoulder bridge, again, the same as with the scissors before this exercise, we only want you to be working at the level that feels most comfortable for yourself. So again, nice big deep breath in to begin with. As we breathe out, we squeeze those bum cheeks together. We bring ourselves up into that full shoulder bridge position. Now at this point, this is where we deviate and move on to the level 2 shoulder bridge, and with our legs one at a time we extend out one leg and we hold it, 3, 2, 1, bring it back down and lower yourself back down for a rest. Then on the next one, squeeze bum cheeks together, lift up, hold, 3, 2, 1, down and lower. It's very important, where possible, making sure that your bottom and your hips don't tilt to one side. We're maintaining that even height at our hips. And again, we're making sure we feel all the work in our bum cheeks. Now when you start to feel the work working its way up your back, that fatigue, that's a sign that you're then ready to have a rest. So keep this going until you feel that fatigue start to set in. Hold it, 3, 2, 1, and then down. Again, making sure your head is still resting comfortably on the mat. Bum high as possible. Three, 2, 1. So we're just going to do a few more repetitions on each side before we then move on to our half shoulder bridge. So hold, 3, 2, 1. So last 2 on each side, 3, 2, 1. Three, 2, 1. Three, 2, 1. Then for the last one on our left side, holding it, 3, 2, 1, lower down and come to a rest. We're now going to move on to our half shoulder bridge. Completing our level 1 and level 2 shoulder bridge, we're now going to move on to our half shoulder bridge. For this exercise, we still need to have nothing under our head, so we're resting comfortably on the mat or on the surface we are led on. We're going to bring one leg up into tabletop, making sure our knee is above our hip. We also need to make sure our foot is in line with our knee, and when we're led fully flat, we shouldn't be able to see that foot behind our knee. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a nice big deep breath in, and what we're going to do is as we breathe out, we can lift our bottom a few inches up into the air, and we're going to hold it, 3, 2, 1, and then down. Now the key watch point of this exercise is that we keep this leg up in the air. People are very tempted to lower the leg down onto the floor after they've completed a single repetition of the exercise, and then lift it back up so they can repeat the same movement again. Now again, as well as this, we're making sure our hips stay nice and level. And again, we're holding it 3 seconds, approximately. And again, after having completed your shoulder bridge level 2 or level 1, just before, you're going to start to feel that fatigue setting your gluteal muscles. So again, we hold it, 3, 2, 1, and then down. Up, 3, 2, 1, and down. So we'll just have a few more repetitions. Now for the placement of your hands, you can either have them by your side or across your chest. Neither option is wrong, just what feels most comfortable for you. So 5 more. Then our final one, so we're just going to hold this for longer. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then bring that leg down to rest. And then what you'll need to do is you'll repeat it again, but with your other leg lifted up into the air, hands either across your chest or by your side. And then again, what we do, squeeze your bum cheeks together, lift up and hold, 3, 2, 1, and down. And lift, hold, 3, 2, 1, and down. So we just keep that going until you feel that fatigue set in, or until you feel ready to switch on to the next exercise. Again, make sure your knee is above your hip. You're only lifting your bottom a few inches into the air. And again, making sure these hips aren't swiveling from side to side, lovely and level. So just 5 more repetitions with a long hold on the final one. So lift up, hold, 3, 2, 1, and down. And up, 3, 2, 1, and down. And up, hold, 1. And for our final one, we're going to lift up and hold. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. And now we're going to move on to our next exercise. Don't get your hopes up, this isn't the end of the class. So what we're going to do is we're now going to come from lying on our back and we're going to lie on our side. There's going to be 3 exercises in this final portion of the class. For these 3 exercises, we're going to do them all on one side first before I will loop the video so that those 3 exercises will then play again. So we're now going to move on to our first exercise. So for our first exercise on our side, we're going to do our clam. Now our clam comes in a few different levels, and we're going to focus on our basic clam, which is our level 1, and we're also going to focus on our clam level 2. For our clam level 1, we need to have our feet in line with our bottom. We need to have our hand on our hip, or our elbow pointing towards the ceiling. We need to have our head resting on our head block or pillow, and making sure that our chin isn't tucked in towards our chest. We're making sure it's looking ahead nice and straight, and our head is in line with our spine. So we're going to start us off with our climb level 1. So for this exercise, we need to make sure that the movement comes just from our hip. We've got to make sure our feet stay together. Now what we've got to do is, at the same time as doing this, we've got to make sure our knee that is on the top of our legs is going as high as possible. So again, if you're doing this correctly, what you will feel is you'll feel some work building up in that back pocket area in your bottom. And again, just making sure you're keeping it going. Now, if you feel comfortable remaining at your level 1, please do so. But for our next progression, I'm going to show you our level 2 climb. So for our level 2 climb, what we're going to do, we're going to lift our feet into the air, making sure they still stay in line with our bottom. Hand still stays on our hip. And then what we're going to do is, by carrying on with this, we're going to open out our knees, making sure that again they're going as high as possible. And then we lower down. Now again, if you feel more comfortable sticking at your level 1, by all means please feel free to do so. But again, ideally we want to be progressing onto our level 2. So again, nice steady control, making sure that we're not rolling onto our back like so, making sure that our knees go as high as possible and we're remaining firmly on our side. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then bring those legs down onto the mat, and we're now going to move on to our next exercise. For our next exercise, we're now going to move on to our side kick. So for this exercise, we make sure that our bottom leg stays nice and bent, providing us with a nice stable surface area. What we then do is we lift our top leg up to hip height. We're not lifting it up here, we're lifting it just so our knee is level with our hip. And what we're going to do is we're going to straighten out that leg, and it remains straight. Imagine our leg is pointing to 12 o'clock, and then what we're going to do, you're going to move it forward 30 degrees, as if it was moving to 1 o'clock, then it moves back to 12 o'clock. So again, nice, steady exercise. So again, we keep this continuous pendular motion. And again, with that long lever, the ache is going to build up in your bottom a lot more quickly than it will do on the previous exercises. Just keep it going. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring those legs to a rest, and we're now going to move on to our next exercise. For the final exercise on our side, what we're going to do is we're going to straighten out our legs so they are in line with our body. They shouldn't sit ahead of our hips, they should be in line with our hips and our spine firmly stacked up on top of one another. The hand that was once on our hip now comes to rest in front of us on the mat to provide us with a nice little bit of additional support. Now, when we do this exercise, what we need to do is we need to make sure that we place as little pressure through our hands as possible. What we're going to do is with both our legs straight, knees fully straight, we're going to lift our legs up into the air. You're going to hold them, 3, 2, 1, and lower down. And it's as simple as that. So again, nice big deep breath in, breathe out and lift, holding it, 3, 2, 1, and down. So again, always being wary of how much pressure you're placing on the mats. And again, if you feel comfortable to do so, you can remove that hand and just rely entirely on your upper body's core balance to keep you nice and still. So again, up, 3, 2, 1, down. So we're going to go on to our final repetitions now, so 5 more. So 3, 2, 1, and down. Then lift up and hold, 3, 2, 1, and down. Then up and hold, 3, 2, 1, and down. Then second to last one, lift up, hold it, 3, 2, 1, and down. Then we're going to do one really long last one. We're going to lift up and hold. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then bring those legs down and relax. We're now going to move on to our next exercise. For our first exercise on our side, we're going to do our clam. Now our clam comes in a few different levels, and we're going to focus on our basic clam, which is our level 1, and we're also going to focus on our clam level 2. For our clam level 1, we need to have our feet in line with our bottom. We need to have our hand on our hip or our elbow pointing towards the ceiling. We need to have our head resting on our head block or pillow, and making sure that our chin isn't tucked in towards our chest. We're making sure it's looking ahead nice and straight, and our head is in line with our spine. So we're going to start off with our clam level 1. So for this exercise, we need to make sure that the movement comes just from our hip. We've got to make sure our feet stay together. Now what we've got to do is, at the same time as doing this, we've got to make sure our knee that is on the top of our legs is going as high as possible. So again, if you're doing this correctly, what you will feel is you'll feel some work building up in that back pocket area in your bottom. And again, just making sure you're keeping it going. Now, if you feel comfortable remaining at your level 1, please do so. But for our next progression, I'm going to show you our level 2 clam. So for our level 2 clam, what we're going to do, we're going to lift our feet into the air, making sure they still stay in line with our bottom. Hand still stays on our hip. And then what we're going to do is, by carrying on with this, we're going to open out our knees, making sure that again they're going as high as possible. And then we lower down. Now again, if you feel more comfortable sticking at your level 1, by all means please feel free to do so. But again, ideally we want to be progressing onto our level 2. So again, nice steady control, making sure that we're not rolling onto our back like so, making sure that our knees go as high as possible, and we're remaining firmly on our side. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then bring those legs down onto the mat, and we're now going to move on to our next exercise. Next exercise, we're now going to move on to our side kick. So for this exercise, we make sure that our bottom leg stays nice and bent, providing us with a nice stable surface area. What we then do is we lift our top leg up to hip height. We're not lifting it up here, we're lifting it just so our knee is level with our hip. And what we're going to do is we're going to straighten out that leg, and it remains straight. Imagine our leg is pointing to 12 o'clock, and then what we're going to do, you're going to move it forward 30 degrees, as if it was moving to 1 o'clock, then it moves back to 12 o'clock. So again, nice, steady exercise. So again, we keep this continuous pendular motion. And again, with that long lever, the ache is going to build up in your bottom a lot more quickly than it will do on the previous exercises. Just keep it going. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring those legs to a rest, and we're now going to move on to our next exercise. For the final exercise on our side, what we're going to do is we're going to straighten out our legs so they are in line with our body. They shouldn't sit ahead of our hips, they should be in line with our hips and our spine, firmly stacked up on top of one another. The hand that was once on our hip now comes to rest in front of us on the mat to provide us with a nice little bit of additional support. Now, when we do this exercise, what we need to do is we need to make sure that we place as little pressure through our hands as possible. What we're going to do is, with both our legs straight, knees fully straight, we're going to lift our legs up into the air. You're going to hold them, 3, 2, 1, then lower down. And it's as simple as that. So again, nice big deep breath in, breathe out and lift, holding it, 3, 2, 1, and down. So again, always being wary of how much pressure you're placing on the mats. And again, if you feel comfortable to do so, you can remove that hand and just rely entirely on your upper body's core balance to keep you nice and still. So again, up, 3, 2, 1, down. So we're going to go on to our final repetitions now, so 5 more. So 3, 2, 1, then down. Then lift up and hold, 3, 2, 1, and down. Then up and hold, 3, 2, 1, and down. Then second to last one, lift up, hold it, 3, 2, 1, and down. Then we're going to do one really long last one. We're going to lift up and hold. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then bring those legs down and relax. We're now going to move on to our next exercise. We're now going to finish off on our final exercise. We're going to do our roll down. So for this exercise, you will find it easy. You want to find something firm to sit on, or just try and sit up as straight as possible. Sitting up on this block allows us to have a straighter back to begin with. We need to make sure our knees are approximately shoulder width apart. You're going to have your hands out in front of you. What we need to make sure is as well is that we're not too far back on the mat / head block, or else we'll tumble over when we do so because we'll have lost balance. So take a nice big deep breath in, breathe out, and then what we do is we roll back as far as you feel comfortable to do so. We hold it, 3, 2, 1, then up, then back, hold, 3, 2, 1, and up. Now the difficulty of this exercise is dictated by how far you roll back. If you want it to be a bit easier, don't roll as far back. And if you want it to be unbelievably challenging, roll as far back as you feel comfortable to do so. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to increase the amount of time we have each repetition for. So, I'm going to roll back and hold. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then roll up, straight back, and then roll back. And 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back. Then roll back and hold. So 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back. And then down and hold. So 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back. Then last 2 and hold. So 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and up. Then roll back and hold. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. We're now going to move on to the cool down portion of the class. So we're now going to move on to the cool down portion of the class, and this is just going to involve some gentle stretching. So what we're going to do, I want you to take one leg, place it on your knee, and place that foot on the knee, and then what you're going to do is you're going to bring that knee toward your chest, and you're going to feel a stretch in the bottom on the side of the leg that is placed on the knee. So you're going to hold it. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then place that foot down on the floor, switching over to the other leg, and again bringing that knee towards your chest, using your hand to assist it. So hold it. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Place down. And we're just going to repeat once more on each side. So again, towards your chest, hold it. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switching over for the final time with a stretch. Knee towards your chest, holding it. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. And then what we're going to do is we're going to move on to our final stretch. For this exercise, what we're going to do is we're going to roll our knees one direction and roll your head the opposite. We're going to make sure our arms are stretched out as wide as possible. We're going to hold, so 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then staying in this position, what we're going to do is we're going to straighten out that leg, intensifying the stretch in your lower back and your mid back, and you're holding it for another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then bring it back in, into the centre. Now what you're going to do is you're going to, for the final stretch, you're going to roll your head the opposite directions to the way it was before. Your knees are going to twist to the opposite side. And what we're going to do, you roll your knees, same as before. Head other direction, holding it. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then straighten out that knee and hold it. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it back in and then relax. Thank you for joining us for our first virtual class. We've really enjoyed it and we hope you have too. We look forward to seeing you at our next class.